Come again to another session in our Python series. We are going to be looking at some other methods in Python string. We are going to be starting with join method. The join method in Python is used to concatenate the elements of an iterable, and we concatenate it into a single string with a specified separator between each element. So before we move forward, the question is, what is an iterable? An iterable is an object which is capable of returning its element one at a time. How can we demonstrate this? So basically, the basic iterable in Python are list, tuple, and dictionary. String also is an iterable. But let me demonstrate this for us. These are different variables. A is a list. B, you should know that this one, when we run it, it should become a tuple. And C is a string. And D is an integer. Good. Now let me run them. So let's do this simple task. So I'm going to use a for loop, which we are going to be talking about in the future. I will use for loop to extract each element of our variables, and let us see what we get. So let's say for I in A, sorry, that is not complete. Print A, print I. You can see that for A, all the elements has been has been extracted. So we have been able to return each of the elements. The same thing go for B. B is a tuple. So if we do the same thing for B, let's see what you get. You can see that each of the element of B, which is a tuple, has also been returned. And that is what makes them an iterable. So list is an iterable, tuple is also an iterable. Let's try it with a string, that is C. You can see that each alphabet in C has also been returned. So string also is an iterable. But let's try it for an integer, D. So you can see that int object is not iterable. Means that integer is not an iterable object. And this is just to tell us that when we want to apply a join method, it must be for element of a string, which is inside an iterable. Good. So having done this, let us move forward. Let us look at this particular text. It is inside a list, and you can see that E is one string, is one string. Several strings that are separated by commas. Now, assuming we want to take all of these strings out of this list, and we want to join them together to become one, and we want them to be separated by a space, so that we want something like this. This is what we want from this string. So let me run our target. So we want something like this. You can see that everything here has become one string because it is only one quotation mark that separates everything here. So this is just one string. And this one string has space in between some of these different words. Now, how can we do this? How do we achieve this from this? The answer is the join method. And this is how we write the syntax. The first thing is that what do we want to separate the elements with? So assuming we want to separate them with points, with a period, we put period there. Assuming it's a comma, we put comma there. But we want to separate them with a space, so we put space. And then we put dot join, and then our iterable, that is what we want to, the iterable, that is the text that we want to join together. So we put text here. So whatever is here must be an iterable object. So in this context, we are naming it as text. So let me change the variable self. Let's say it is, yeah, let's say it's go. So we want to change everything inside go. So goal here is an iterable because it's a list that contains several strings. So now, if you run this code, we are going to get something like this. So let me run this one first. But before I run it, let me explain further. So the first thing is the separator. So here is a space. And then dot join. What are we joining? These elements of this go. The element of the iterable, of this iterable. Good. So let me run it. You can see now that we have is a good man and everything is separated by a space and everything has been extracted out of the list and they are now a single string. Assuming I put comma here, what would we have? You can see that each of these elements is separated by a comma. Assuming I put full stop, a period or full stop here, you can see if I put empty string, that is nothing, what do we have? You can see that everything is joined together. So this is how the join methods work in Python. And believe me, if you are going to be doing advanced text processing in the future, in an advanced project, you are going to be using some of these methods like regularly. Good. Now we move to the find method. So the find method in Python is used to search for a substring within a string. So for example, physics is a substring inside this whole string. If we want to search and find physics, we can use the find method. So it returns the lowest index of the substring if it is found in the given string. So the question is, find will tell us that truly a substring is inside a string, and then it will return the lowest index of that particular substring. But if the substring is not found, it returns -1. And this is the syntax. Don't bother yourself now. I'm going to explain the syntax with example. So we have text. Let's say we want to find physics inside this text. So we say text dot find physics. So this syntax will help us to know if physics is actually inside this text or this string, and if it is there, at what index does this p, which is the lowest index of physics, located. So let's do this. Then you can see that is at index 26, which means that p, which is the lowest index of physics, because if we look at the index of physics, it is 0, 1, 2. So 0 is the lowest index. It is located at index 26 of the whole text. However, if I put maths here, you can see -1. telling us that, guy, there is no math inside this text. Good. Let's move forward. Let's go back to physics again. And I knew that we want to check again for physics at a particular range of index. So now we knew that this was index 26. So we want to start from here. So let's start from here. And let's put index 70. So it will start from 70. So it will start counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then till 70. And it is from this index 70 that it will start finding if physics is in our string or not. You see that index 98. Now, if I want to find between two index, so particularly between 70 and 90. So out of the whole of this text, only look for physics within the index 70 and 90. And let's see what we have, -1. It doesn't find it within that index. So that is why when we are using the find method, we are the substring we are looking for, the beginning of where we want it to start looking for is, and the end. So if we do not specify the end, we are telling it that start from this particular index till the end. Anywhere you find it, let us know. If we remove this and only use this, we are saying find it from the beginning till the end. Good. Now we also have hard find, because if you see, you can see that our find method started searching from left to right. So if we wanted to start searching from right to left, we put the hard find. And when we do that, what do we get? 188. So it means that this is referring to this particular physics. This physics here is what it is indexing. So that is another method, and you can use that one too with both the start index and the end index. Good. Let's look at the index method too. The index method also does the same thing as the find method. So let's say text.index of physics. You can see 26. It does the same thing. But the question is, what is the difference between find and index? These two methods, if they are doing the same thing actually. There is only one classical difference, and it is that when we use the find method, if the substring is not in that text, it will return -1. Whereas when we use the index method, if the substring is not present, it is going to throw us an error. So let's do the same thing here. So let's look for math, even though we knew that math is not present in the text. So this is our text. Math is not present here. So let's look at it if index will give us an error or not. You can see it has thrown us an error, which is substring not found. So you can choose between any of these two methods to find the location of your substring, to find whether your substring is present in the text, and if it is present, you know where the indices starts from, or where its index starts from. But your choice will be determined by what you want if the substring is not present. Assuming you want an error message like this, then you use index. If you want a -1, then you want to use the find method. Good. And the index method too also can be used for a range. So assuming we have physics, so I can also use the right index. If I use the right index, it's going to also come from the right side. And I can also do the beginning, which is, let me say, from 50 and then end at 70. So this also works for index method. So like I said, both the index method and the find method actually do the same task, but their behavior only differs when the substring is not present in the string. Good. Let's look at the count method. The count method in Python or in Python string is used to count the number of occurrences of a substring within a string, and it returns an integer indicating the number of times the substring appears in the string. And this is the syntax, but let us understand the syntax by example. So this is text, and we want to find, we want to count the number of times we have physics inside this. So let's do this. So we have physics 5 times. Let's count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Good. Now, assuming we want to find it from the 50th index. So we can say start from 50. So we know that 50 is beyond here. So if you start from 50, let's see the number of times, and then it is 3. So if you say start from 30 to 50, 30 to 50 is returned 0. There is nothing between 30 and 50. But if you remember, you will see that this particular one was at index 26 or 29. So I will put this at 20. So 20 is before this physics, so it should be able to catch this physics. So you can see it was able to count it. And that is how the count function works in string objects. Good. So we are going to be meeting in the next session. This notebook is going to be, the link to this notebook is going to be available in the description section below this video, and you can access it and play around some of these concepts. Thanks very much until we meet in the next one.